We got plenty of seats still up here if you want to come up and have a seat. I want to start by just thanking everybody for coming out. You need anything? You guys good? All right. I'll start by thanking everybody for coming out. I know this is a Monday. You can do so many things at your Monday, but I'm so glad you're brave enough to come listen to a mayor, a couple city councils, and an auditor this evening. I am really excited about these events. We did our first one. Yeah, if we can bring down the temperature or the volume in the back, we can go up here. I am very excited to be here. Certainly, always a pleasure to serve as mayor, but we've had these really cool opportunities over these next couple weeks of bringing City Hall to neighborhoods all across the city. Just last week, we were at Hardesty Library, and it was a great event. And these are really structured so that you can have direct conversations with elected officials. But I think more importantly, you'll find that whatever it is that you may have questions about or concerns about or maybe some needs around, we have our city departments that are all around us to help meet those needs and to get you the answers that you need. Come on up, Counselor. And just a couple housekeeping deals. We do have several departments that are in this room, but then there's several others that are actually just across this courtyard as well. So we'll make sure we navigate you to the appropriate place as we go throughout the evening. So real quick, I think it is up to me to introduce some of the people you see on the stage. I want to start with Council Vice Chair, who we'll hear from in just a little bit, Karen Gilbert. Karen, thank you for being here. Yeah, that's right. Good luck with Karen Gilbert. You'll also hear from Councilor Christian Bingle. We're actually in his council district. Councilor, thank you for being here. He's very excited about being here today. You'll hear also from Councilor Lori Dector-Wright from District 7. And then you'll also hear from your city auditor, Nathan Picard, after the councilors. So real quick, just a quick overview of tonight. I am a couple minutes late, but we'll play catch up a little bit. So we'll get started in a second. But I did want to just mention, if you have a comment, or we got to be out here I think by 7:30. If for some reason you don't get to talk to the person you want to talk to, you should have access to some comment cards. So if you don't get your question answered, make sure you fill that out. Or if you don't feel like walking up to somebody, you got to hop out of here in just a second. Fill that out. We'll make sure we get back to you, so you have that there. Let's see here. What do I say? I think we're about good. A couple folks that I do want to recognize in the crowd. Just think it's really important. The Mingo Valley Division actually has a new commander at TPD, and that is Major Wes Phelps. Come on up so everybody can see you. So I wanted to make sure if you want to interact with him, wanted to make sure you saw him. He's here. We got other representatives from the department here, including Chief Larson. Chief Larson's here as well. So we got folks from every city department that's here. We're looking forward to having conversations with you this evening. Let's see. You'll see today just about every city department is represented here today. Like I said, if they're not in here, they're across the courtyard. We'll make sure you get access to them. So whatever you need tonight, if you got questions about road construction projects, if you're wondering how we make decisions about that, if you got questions about animal services or water and sewer or parks or whatever the case may be, tonight's your night, and that's the reason why we brought City Hall to you this evening. Let's go ahead and click through, try to catch up a little bit here. So, you know what? I'm going to step down a little bit because it might be slightly easier for me to see. So, you guys may know, it's me again. Our city, what we've really worked hard on is make sure that we are running on priorities at the city. So there are certain things at the core we're working on every single day to make sure we make really good progress against those priorities, those goals. These are goals that are not just mayor's office goals; they're shared with the city council. We had a mayor council retreat. We talked about these and how do we make sure that we're operationalizing them in a way that gets better results for citizens. So those are to end homelessness by 2030, getting the functional zero homelessness by 2030. So very specific in what we want to do there. To increase our housing stock, particularly around affordable housing. to improve student outcomes, I was very thankful to the council for providing the resources for the Office of Children, Youth, and Families. So we're doing our work to make sure we put those 15,000 kids on a pathway to economic mobility, making Tulsa the safest big city in the country, ensuring we have equality of economic opportunity across the city, and as the largest city in the country that is all Indian reservation, working on a co-governing relationship in the way we interact with our tribal nations, the Osage, Creek, and Cherokee Nation. So we're very proud of that. So on the area of homelessness, just a couple things from goals and the things we've done to this point. I mentioned the goal to get to functional zero homelessness by 2030. It's a 6-year time frame. It's going to take some time. I know it's something that we all see every single day. It's something that not only we're concerned with in the mayor's office, but we're really taking steps to address it. That goes from everything from our effort to address our shelter capacity to really coordinating the system of services, everything from mental health and substance abuse, and also just maybe some of the underlying financial challenges that people are having that lead them to be out on the streets. Steps to date, I don't know if Emily Hall is here. Emily Hall is here. Emily Hall in the back is a senior advisor for homelessness, and so she's working hard every day on this. You all may have saw just recently, I signed an executive order that did a couple things. It really began to help us organize an encampment decommissioning team, so we make sure we're responsibly reducing the number of encampments across the city. It also talked about our long-term plans around winter shelter capacity and shelter capacity overall, because we know we just don't have enough beds to meet the needs that we have right now. And then it also laid out our goal of creating a council on eviction mitigation. I think right now we're 11 in the country in evictions, and we got to make sure we turn that around. We believe that in addition to maybe some policy to help folks who are struggling, we also have to work with landlords to make sure that they're not just left holding the bag, right? So this has to be a true community solution. It's something that we're working on every single day. You may have read a little bit about the transitional live-in facility. We hope to get that open this summer. And then we're currently working with the city council to ensure we nail those path to home recommendations. Before I got elected, this was already a focus of the city, right? What we really wanted to focus on when I got elected mayor is to driving home the implementation so we can reduce the number of people sleeping outside. I've said it from the start and I'll say it again. Certainly, I know everybody here gets tired of seeing encampments and maybe interacting with folks who need some help and support. And that's one reason why we do it, the aesthetics of it all. But I do think from a morality standpoint, this is really about making sure that in this town, nobody has to sleep outside, and we're going to work every day to make sure that happens. On the housing front, Gene Bullmash is somewhere in the back. I saw Gene because he was talking while I was trying to talk up here. So we had to start late because Gene wouldn't stop talking back there. I'm just kidding. Gene's a great guy. But Gene's our senior advisor on housing. Our goal is not just to think about housing, it's to get 6,000 units, affordable units up and going by 2028, 6,000 more than we have today. We have a goal of reducing blighted properties by 60%. We've been working with the piece of legislation going through the legislature right now to help give us a new tool in combating these blighted houses all across our community. It impacts, I think, every part of the city. It's really hard to clean those titles sometimes. We asked the legislature to help us out, and that's moved along. I mentioned our goal to reduce the eviction rate and certainly begin to fix our own internal processes, right, to make sure we can speed up what it takes to get housing online. I always, they say time is money, and if it takes us too much time to go through the zoning and permitting process, that means that units are going to be less affordable because they have to pass that cost on. Our goal is to clean up our own processes and make this stuff a lot easier. To that end, we've established a housing acceleration team, bringing zoning and bringing the zoning and planning team along with development services so we can accelerate what it takes for folks to get through the permitting process. We've created a community builder program primarily for those folks who are taking and rehabbing old housing, so we can get them in the system and speed that through. It helps do a couple things, get affordable units online, but also revitalizing neighborhoods, which is something we care so much about. Here pretty soon, Gene, I don't know Gene, how long we have to our housing trackers online?
Next week.
Next week, you'll be able to go on the city's website and you'll see how good we're doing against that 6,000 goal. We believe a lot in accountability at City Hall across every department. And we really feel all these goals are not just goals of one organization, but the goals that we have as a community. So we want to make sure that every opportunity we have to make those goals as transparent as possible so you can see the progress we're making, you're able to do so. So that housing tracker will be there for you to do that work. And the last thing we've kind of done through the executive order was to work, you all voted in 2023 to provide $75 million to support housing in this community, working with Gene, along with working with the administrator at the city council. They are going to deliver on the recommendations of how we put those resources to work. We just got back responses from a request for information that we put out to developers. The reason why we did that is, like, we know we have some resources that are going to come to us. We feel like we need to spend those resources in the most effective way to get housing stock out of the ground. And so we wanted to reach out to those folks who were actually doing that work on the ground. And so we did that, we got the responses. That's going to help drive the work and how we end up spending money here pretty soon. All right, student outcomes. There's probably fewer things that are more important to me as mayor than making sure that we improve outcomes for young people. It is our long-term economic viability. It hits us on the public safety end. It means stopping some of the challenges we see in other areas, whether it be homelessness, whatever it might be. If we invest in kids, we invest in ourselves. And so our goal is to, make sure we put those 15,000 kids on a pathway to economic mobility. You may say, Mr. Mayor, how do you do that? I'm glad you asked. Nobody asked me. I'm glad you asked. But we're taking what is called a cradle to career approach. We're looking at student outcome data, and we're understanding that as kids are struggling in different areas, what is our role at the city? What is the role with us and our partners? One of the reasons why we're so bought in on the affordable housing work is because we know over the past 3 years, about 4,400 kids who go to school at Tulsa Public Schools have been in families facing eviction. 50% chronically absent after the first month, 70% after the first year. And so I don't believe I can ask Dr. Johnson in the school district to deal with my affordable housing problem if I'm not also going to hold myself accountable for challenges that we are facing as getting kids to read on grade level, right? Is that fair? It's fair, right? So we're all bought on this as a community. So that's our goal. You can see the others. I won't run through them all because I'm running behind already, but I am really proud. I think Crystal Reyes is here. Crystal, come on up, Crystal. When we did the last community conversation, you only got one mayor. But today, Crystal's our deputy mayor. So Crystal, I want to make sure everybody saw Crystal. Crystal's deputy mayor. Crystal's leading this work for us at City Hall. So I want to make sure you all saw her, but this is our deputy mayor, Crystal Reyes. Absolutely. Thank you, Crystal. Next time, Crystal's going to have to do this. We can flip through. Safest big city in the country. I'm really passionate about this. You can see all those things behind us, but there is one thing that I want to lift up, and I don't know if Laurel's here, but when I got Laurel's here, Laurel Roberts is in the back. Laurel is our Commissioner of Public Safety. She's back there. Go ahead and turn around and take a look. She waved to nobody. Just take a look at it. I don't want her to waste that wave she just had. It was such a great wave. You nailed it. But Laurel leads in the areas of police, fire, with IMSA, municipal court, and animal services. We wanted to take a very broad and comprehensive view of how we provided public safety in this community. Getting to be the safest big city in the country doesn't mean you do it just by piecemeal. It won't just happen. You have to be intentional about it. I'm so proud of our departments at the city, police, fire, animal service, municipal court, our relationship with IMSA. I think we're getting it done. One great example of this is just this year, for about the last 11 or so weeks, we've had a mental health clinician that's been embedded at 911. And in that time, they have diverted, I think just last month actually, they've diverted somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 calls away from a law enforcement interaction to a mental health professional. Absolutely. And so I mention that because it is true, we do need more men and women in law enforcement. We certainly have to continue to invest in things that traditionally make us safe. But our belief at the mayor's office and across the whole city is that we have to make sure people get the intervention that they need, not just the intervention that we have available. We have to create spaces where we can make sure that people get the things they need, because ultimately that's what makes us more safe. And that's what we believe. And everything you see up here and everything we do is reflective of that. Next slide. Equality and economic opportunity. So A couple things like we really are thinking about, so if we're asking citizens to invest things, what is that going toward? Making sure that there's an ROI for citizens. If we're asking you, all those things you pay for on your water and sewer bills and all that kind of stuff, what does that go to? It goes, well, A, make sure the water's safe that you drink, but also helping us make sure we can continue to invest in the infrastructure and to help us continue to create jobs, right? To make sure that we continue to grow the city, to continue to make sure we can invest in things like police, fire, and all the things that make this a great community. So you know, we are certainly bought in over here on the east side of town. I saw some of the folks from Elevate East that was here. Is Cynthia here? Where is she? Cynthia's here with a baby? What? It's her baby, right? Just kidding. No. Well, Cynthia's here somewhere, and we're so glad to have that partnership and really doing all the things to make sure we're investing in all parts of town. Our big thing is make sure we're investing in growth across the city, not just deciding and picking winners and losers, but making sure that every part of Tulsa gets to benefit from the investments that you all are making as citizens. And our economic plan is there. So a couple things I want to draw your attention to. We are going to kick off a sustainability task force, and that is in large part to make sure that we're continuing to work to build an economy that's going to fit the future, right? Just since I've been mayor, Tulsa's already been really a center of really the future of a lot of things, whether that be space and satellites in space. We'll certainly have here pretty soon a testing center here where folks who were testing rocket engines, they'll roll through Tulsa. I'm told, which kind of freaks me out a little bit, there's 10,000 orbiting the Earth right now. There's going to be like 60,000 in 5 years, which blows me away. But the testing of those engines are going to happen here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. How cool is that? How cool is that? You guys may have seen. Oh yeah, we clap for that. Yeah, sure. Everything from being the drone capital of the world to just this last month, I was told by our partners at the chamber that for as long as a lot of folks can remember, there were more economic development prospects, more people interested in Tulsa than as long as a lot of folks can remember. So that speaks to a testament of what people think about this community and how important it is we continue to invest in ourselves. Next slide. Co-governing with tribal nations. So when I got elected, I recognized there's maybe a little bit of diversity in how some people think we should work with tribal nations. I believe that this is not just a question of public safety, but it's certainly about how do we continue to build for the future. So right now, just for everybody's awareness, we're working on a framework with the Creek Nation that we'll have done next month that will allow us to more easily answer the call of how folks are prosecuted once arrested, post-McGirt, post-O'Brien, those kind of things. And so it was my belief that if we got out of this adversarial relationship in the courtroom, we could figure out how to do this around a table in partnership together, and we're doing that. So far since I've been mayor, I've met with every chief multiple times. We've had 2 meetings with all of them and the AGs and all their leadership. And so what I can tell you is we're primed not only to solve maybe some of those technical challenges around public safety, but we're really primed to work with tribes to address all the other issues I talked about. They are so bought in and working with us on homelessness and housing, in education, in economic development, and in public safety. And I've always believed, I still firmly believe, that you don't have to trade your support of tribal sovereignty for your safety. And we're proving that. I'm very excited about that, and I can't wait to be able to roll out those things to citizens here pretty soon. Is that, there we go.